Hey everybody, time for another breadcrumbs video. We are in chapter 4 of Ruth. We're going to finish the book of Ruth today, and we're going to go through some passages in Chronicles talking about different genealogies, and we're also in the first chapter of the book of 1 Samuel. And so what was really standing out to me today was the idea in Ruth here of Boaz, who is the son of Salmon. And in Matthew chapter 1, there's a genealogy where it actually says that Salmon's wife was Rahab from Jericho. And so the book of Ruth takes place in the time of the judges. And so Salmon was a leader in the tribe of Judah. He marries Rahab from Jericho, and Boaz is Salmon's son. And then we have this story of Boaz marrying Ruth, who's a Gentile. She's from Moab. And they have Obed is the son that's born here in chapter 4. And Obed is the father of Jesse. And Jesse is the father of David. So in other words, this is David's grandpa. But he comes from the lineage of Salmon and Rahab. So I just love how God works through the generations. And that was what was really standing out to me. Obviously, we're going through all these genealogies, but the work of God is progressive, it's multi-generational, and it's just interesting to think about Boaz, whose mother would have been Rahab. She's a Gentile, she's from Jericho, she's not from the tribe of Israel, she marries in as a foreigner, and so what must his heart have been like? Here's his mother who's a Gentile, and just how God kind of set him up to marry Ruth. His mother is a Gentile, a foreigner. Here comes this foreigner in need. And Boaz, as an older man, marries a younger woman, but he sees Ruth and sees God working through the situation. And I just love how God kind of works through the generations to accomplish his purposes. And Naomi's going through a hard time, but the book of Ruth ends with this grandchild for Naomi to snuggle. And of course, this is the grandfather of David, and ultimately this is in the lineage of Jesus. And so really encouraging just to look at, when we pull back a little bit, God's weaving this amazing tapestry through time of people that are woven into the story of faith. And in 1 Samuel, we have another interesting story here of a woman named Hannah, and she is barren, and she is crying out to God for a child. And we're going to see that this is going to end up being Samuel, and it's another one of those miraculous stories where God brings forth out of a barren woman an important child. So we're talking about, there's obviously Jesus, John the Baptist, Isaac, here's Samuel. The Lord just loves this particular kind of story where there's a barren woman, and despite all odds, she has an amazing child who has an incredible destiny in God. And so we're getting set up here for really Samuel is going to be the last judge, and he's going to be the bridge between the time of the judges into the time of the kings, where in 1 Samuel we'll meet Saul, we'll meet David, and we'll start moving into the age of the kings of Israel. But Samuel is going to judge the nation of Israel. He's also a priest, and so he's an amazing man of God. And so we're heading into a great story. But I love how the time of the judges ends with this wonderful story of, even in the midst of a time when we've talked about it, there was no king in Israel, and everyone was doing what was right in their own eyes. Even amidst all that, there's this story of restoration, redemption of Ruth, this Gentile foreigner who binds her heart to her mother-in-law and to the people of Israel, becomes an Israelite through marriage, and woven into the genealogy of Jesus and David, and is connected to Rahab, this other foreigner who came into the family of Israel as well. Just beautiful to think about how God is working his plans and purposes through all the generations. So I hope that encourages you today. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon.